Welcome to Kayfabe Crimes, the podcast where wrestling is not an alibi. I'm Kim.
And I'm Aaron, and together we're going to investigate the crimes committed by wrestlers. We're going to take a look at different crimes each week and see what we think they would be sentenced for and what would they be convicted of for giving out each crime. I nearly gave the old intro there, but as you probably can tell a little bit, we've changed it a little bit up. As we said on social media, we're rather than doing weekly through each week what's happening on AEW Dynamite, we're now going to start picking and choosing what we think will be the best to discuss crimes committed by wrestlers across the board of any company. Any crime throughout history, so there's going to be some weird things coming up probably at some point, including people eating dogs and shit.
Yeah, don't worry, I've got a couple for Swerve.
Yes, after the last one for Hangman, he has been preparing ready for Swerve. Basically, all the rules we used to give, they're kind of gone out the window a little bit. There is only one rule we're going to keep, which is the most important rule, really. We're just having fun. We don't know what we're doing. We're just winging it. Neither of us are lawyers or police or even close to being either of those things.
Nope.
We're just doing this for a bit of fun, to have a bit of a different look at wrestling and have a bit of a laugh. So, yeah.
And we are starting with a good one.
Yes. So, one I've been wanting to do for a while, and so we thought we'd start with that one, is... the BCC's attack on Bryan after his match in All Out with Jack Perry. So what we're going to do first is we're going to break down the crime, talk about it, discuss it, because we can't show the video because we might get copyright striked and take out the whole video.
And also, it's not on YouTube.
Oh yeah, it's not on YouTube, which is really weird, but it also can kind of get, because, you know, you don't want to see kids seeing people get bags put over their heads and copying that, because probably not a good idea.
Not that there wasn't kids in the audience.
Yeah, well, but if they've paid to be there, it's different.
I suppose.
After the mystery wrestling we watched last night, kids are just not having a good time in wrestling. We were. So anyway, let's go through the crime. We'll discuss the crime, we'll talk about it, and we'll go through it all, and then we'll break down what crimes we think have been committed. Okay, so as I said, it was Bryan and Jack Perry having it's a really, really good match, actually. Jack Perry was really getting into his character and, like, you know, just being a bit of a bell end. The Bucks snuck out and did some shenanigans. And then Bryan still was able to win. And then after the match, after Bryan got his win, the patriarchy started coming down. Luchasaurus got into the ring, and the rest of the patriarchy started coming down. And then the BCC jumped out of the crowd because they previously chased the Bucks away, so they jumped out of the crowd. First, it was MOX, so the whole audience was like, "Yes, BCC's gonna do some good shit. It's gonna be a bit of a brawl, it's gonna be a bit of a laugh." And then the rest of the BCC join him with Pac. And then they all jump into the ring and, like, start celebrating. And then you can see how happy Bryan is. He's absolutely fucking made up.
Having the time of his
life.
He's got his best friends with him.
Yeah.
He's just won a match. He's still wrestling.
Yeah. He gets a big, massive hug from Mox and a kiss on his forehead. And then... usually we get more in the middle. You can't see the face on there. I
have to stand up for it.
I might start making that as a sticker because I don't no longer sell it as a shirt. But anyway, Mox kisses his forehead, and then Claudio, and I think it's Mox on the other side, start raising Bryan's hand like, you know, he's the victor and all stuff like that. And then shock horror. I was going to say Mox, but it wasn't Mox. It was Claudio uppercuts Bryan and sends him flying to the floor. And Bryan gives the most shocked Pikachu face I've ever seen of anybody in my life. Yeah,
because it takes him a minute to realise what happened.
He's like, what the fuck?
He's still like in this element, and then he's like, wait, what?
Yeah, he's just on his ass looking up at Claudio, because Claudio's a tall bastard as well.
Right.
And just looking up, and he's just like, what the fuck's going on? And then as that's happening, Mox gets a paper bag, a plastic bag out of his pocket.
Could be better if it was a paper bag.
Sneaks up behind him and puts it over his head, basically, and starts suffocating him. While this is going on, Pac is holding Yuta back while Yuta is crying his fucking eyes out.
Like, no, let me go.
Yuta is having a breakdown. Marina and Claudio are keeping the referees and that out of the ring while he's carrying on choking him. Yuta's still crying, still having a little bit of breakdown. And then after about a minute and 15 seconds, a minute 20 seconds, Mox stops choking him. That time will come important later on, maybe. We're going to discuss that. And then the BCC leaving behind Yuta and the medical team to, like, try and see what's going on.
Yeah. That's about it, really.
Little things in there. Bryan was fucking having the time of his life. He was trying to hide the smiles, but he was not. So either he's really, really kinky, which is possible, or he's just like loving the moment of it. Like, yes, fucking kill me on TV, make the children cry. So what we're going to do is we're going to break it down because when I was doing research into this, it could have been two possible different types of offences. One is grievous bodily harm, so GBH, or attempted murder. Would you like to go through the definition of GBH so we can have a look into that?
Yep. So you already know, if you've listened to our other episodes, what GBH is. We've gone through it. But for anyone who hasn't listened to any of our other episodes, GBH is simply the assault has caused some serious physical harm. It doesn't have to be permanent or dangerous. A broken bone counts because it could heal without any issues, or it could lead to permanent disability. GBH also includes psychiatric injury or someone passing on an infection, for example, through sexual activity.
And then I'll break down what attempted murder counts as.
This one?
Yeah. So obviously murder is the attempt to take somebody's life. And GBH is obviously to try to injure or hurt somebody without the intent to kill them. Attempted murder is the unlawful attempt to kill another person where the offender possesses the intent to kill but fails to cause death. It is a statutory offence under the Criminal Attempts Act. The key elements of it being an attempted murder is the offender must have carried out an act that goes beyond mere preparation and is more than a predatory act towards killing the victim. And unlike murder, the only relevant intent for attempted murder is the intent to kill. Intent to cause GBH is insufficient. So if they were only trying to hurt them, it's GBH. If the BCC was trying to kill Bryan, it would count attempted murder. And that's where the 1 minute 20 about-ish, 1 minute 15, 1 minute 20 of being choked. You wanted to discuss about that, didn't you?
Yeah, so...
Because you did some research into that and how long it would take for somebody to die from.
Yeah, so you can go up to 4 to 6 minutes without oxygen. I think I've gone longer without it before you die.
Yeah.
And the fact that MOX stopped after 1 minute 15, which was when he passed out, and then just left. I'd need to say, like, he left.
And nobody
stopped.
I was going to say it's on his own volition as well, wasn't it? The referees didn't have a chance to stop him. They couldn't get in the ring.
Yeah. Nobody stopped him leaving. He left on his own.
Yeah.
And he didn't try and stop anyone from getting in to help.
Yes.
Danielson.
So once he'd done,
once he'd knocked him out, he left.
Yeah.
So I would argue against attempted murder.
I can see where you're coming from that because like you said, it was a long choke because you can't really say it's such thing as a short choke unless you just unless you're into it. But
or you using those tiny pencil chains.
Yeah. If the crew, it wouldn't be counted as it would be
common assault.
But like you said, he did it of his own volition. He didn't want to carry on. He'd done enough to hurt him. Got all the BCC to go with him. And so I would be happy with counting that as GBH. He's not gone out with the intent to kill. He's gone out with the intent to harm. Yeah,
seriously harm.
He's gone out with the intent to seriously harm, yes. But he's not gone out with the intent to kill. Okay, so with GBH, if you're a listener or a watcher of our show, you've probably gone through this a few times. Do listen out though, because you've just updated the sentencing definitions for certain things. So there's a few slight little changes from the things, but there's two different parts of when you're given a sentence for a crime, and that's culpability and harm. So culpability is how much have you done that crime? How much are you to blame for doing that crime? Were you coerced, or were you did you mean to do it type thing? Did you bring something to do it, i.e. a plastic bag?
That was in your pocket and we all saw you get it out.
I think we might have to slightly break it down between the three. All of them are slightly different.
Okay.
Because they've all had different roles within actually doing it.
Yeah.
So I think we'll start with who we think we're going to get the lowest and work our way up.
Well, Utes gets the lowest.
Well, yes, Utes I think clearly does not get anything at all, because he did nothing. He got stopped from doing it yet. He's not done anything yet.
Yes, but this was before.
So we'll go through the culpability and the harm for each person, give them their sentencing, and then we'll go back and do the next person, etc.
So I'm going to say Pac and Marina will be the same.
Yeah.
All they did was stop anyone getting to him.
Yes, I think that was exactly. I think you agree. I think it still falls under GBH because they allowed it to happen. It might not have been anywhere near as serious if they hadn't have stopped people getting in the ring or stopped Yuta from interfering. So I think it still does count as GBH.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, but I think they'd get the lowest.
Yes, so we'll go through the culpability definitions and then we'll have a look, see what they get.
Yep.
Okay, so for high culpability, so culpability is broken up to 3 parts, and high culpability is significant degree of planning or premeditation. Victim obviously vulnerable due to age, personal characteristics or circumstances, use of highly dangerous weapon or weapon equivalent, strangulation, suffocation or asphyxiation, leading role in a group activity, or a prolonged or persistent assault. So they didn't actually achieve any of them, I don't think.
I don't think so.
Well, it was a prolonged or persistent assault. That was part of MOX.
They weren't doing the actual assault.
Yes, okay. So medium culpability, would you like to go through that?
Yeah, I'll do medium culpability. Yeah. That is a use of a weapon or weapon equivalent which doesn't fall into category A. There's a lesser role in group activity. And cases falling between A or C because both factors in high and lesser are present and balance each other out. Or the offender's culpability falls between the factors as described in higher and lesser culpability. So you could say they have a lesser role in group activity.
I literally was going to say that. I think they fall within B, unless when we go through C, they fall into that more.
Yeah.
But at the moment, from what we're talking about, I think B, because of the lesser group role in the group activity.
Yeah.
They allowed it to happen. Without them, it wouldn't have been anywhere near as severe. So for lesser culpability, there's no weapon use, excessive self-defense, impulsive, spontaneous and short-lived assault, or a mental disorder or learning disability were linked to the commission of the offence. I don't think they fall into any of them for them, unfortunately.
No.
Not unfortunately, they did the crimes. Yeah. Why is it unfortunate? They deserve what they get.
Right.
So yeah, I think, like you said, I think both of them fall into B. Pac and Marina fall under B for medium culpability.
I completely agree.
So next we will discuss harm, and in this case, because it is an assault, it's how much harm was done to the victim of the assault. So I feel like everybody's going to fall up under the same category.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, like,
the definition is going to be whether they're A, B, or C for culpability, basically. Yeah. Okay. So would you like to break down category 1?
So there are 3 categories for harm. Category 1 is particularly grave and or life-threatening injury caused. Injury results in physical or psychological harm, resulting in lifelong dependency on third-party care or medical treatment. Or the offence results in permanent, irreversible injury or condition which has a substantial and long-term effect on the victim's ability to carry out their normal day-to-day activities or on their ability to work. I am not sure it's actually any of those.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
He was wrestling for at least another month.
Yeah, and like you said, Yuta gets a chance to choke him out as well. So
yeah, it was after Yuta choked him out that we've only seen him do some interviews.
Yeah. So and like as this is obviously Kayfabe Crimes, in a Kayfabe capacity, we've not actually seen him on screen in AEW since that choking. So but yeah, that's a discussion for a different episode. But for this episode, I don't think they fall into category 1. So for category 2, it's a grave injury. Offence results in a permanent, irreversible injury or condition not falling within category 1. And I'll do category 3 because it's never that quick one. All other cases of really serious harm or all other cases of wounding. I think because he was choked out, it didn't, but there's a chance it could have caused death, even though they stopped early and all that. For me, it falls under 2, a grave injury.
I was going to say 2, because I'm trying to remember. He wasn't seen the next week. I remember Utes coming in and people asking, how's Bryan?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if he came in the week after.
Yeah.
But it must have been bad enough for Bryan to not come into work because he was always at work. So
and you're passing somebody out, even if you don't kill somebody, there's a very high chance you're going to cause a brain injury.
Any lack of oxygen is dangerous to the brain.
So I would not feel happy giving it a category 3, and I think it's got to be at least a category 2 for this, I think. So
I
for these,
agree.
it's going to be B and 2. So there is a table for sentencing which you break it down and gives a starting point and a range of what these custody services can be. We're going to change it slightly because normally we just go, do you know what, the funniest one is going to be the highest one. But because we were only concentrating on one crime at a time, we think we should be more interested to be able to go in depth and discuss what we think the crime deserves and what things the court will look into when given the sentencing, which might higher the number or lower the number. So for B and 2, you start at a 2 years custody, and then depending on what you decide of higher or lower, it's anywhere between 1 and 3 years, depending on where it moves from that 2 years.
Yep.
So now we're going to break down the different things that increase or decrease the seriousness of the offence, which means they might get higher or more.
So, factors increasing seriousness include statutory aggravating factors, which include previous convictions. The offence is committed whilst on bail. The offence is motivated by or demonstrating hostility based on any of the following characters or presumed characteristics of the victim: disability, sexual orientation, or transgender identity. The offence was committed against an emergency worker acting in the exercise of functions as such a worker. Or the offence was committed against a person providing a public service, performing a public duty, or providing services to the public.
I think you could argue that some of them would fall into previous convictions, but for some of the stuff going forward that we're going to do, it's going to be very hard to track down what might have been previous convictions or not.
Yeah.
So I think just for the sake of our sanity, more than anything,
I don't think we ever think about that
but
one.
Yeah. Because obviously as well, we're going to be jumping around and stuff like that. So we might have convicted something before they do the second attack, and then it's just going to get really confusing.
Yeah.
So I think we just skip previous convictions and move that one off. So for the other ones that you discussed, they don't fall into any of them at all. And it's like,
I mean, maybe he's providing a public service. he is a wrestler performing a show.
Okay. But then
celebrating.
but that would count for every single wrestler and every single crime we ever did. So
but no. I'm just trying. I'm trying to help out Bryan here. All right.
For example, if they attacked one of the emergency service people that came out to help him, I'd agree with you on that. But unfortunately, while to us it's a public service and we enjoy it and we love it, I don't think a court would argue that wrestling is a public service. It's not a public need. So unfortunately, yes, I don't think he's providing a public service.
Fine. Sorry, Bryan, I tried.
But there might be other aggravating factors that might be included. The offence committed against those working in the public sector or providing a service to the public, or against a person coming to the assistance of an emergency worker. Offence committed in prison, definitely not. No. Offence committed in a domestic abuse context.
I mean, they're family.
So maybe history of violence or abuse towards victim by offender. I think there's more Bryan giving out the abuse to you two.
Yeah, which I will so argue when we come to Utah's one.
This one might actually increase what we think they might get. Presence of children. There's fucking loads.
There was loads of children there.
So yeah, I think that might do it.
Gratuitous degradation of victim.
Yep. Abuse of power and or position of trust. Any steps taken to prevent the victim reporting an incident? Not really. Commission of offence while under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Offence committed while on licence or post-sentence supervision, and failure to comply with current court orders. So as we said, I think the presence of children, obviously there were loads of children in there, so I think that would increase it, unless any of the other ones for reducing it balance it out.
Yeah.
I don't think it's any of the other ones.
I would say there's a history of violence or abuse towards victim by offender,
and
because they have a history. They have a very long history of abuse towards each other.
Yeah, to each other. It's like equal defence.
Yeah, but maybe Bryan was just one more, and it was really bad. And Mox was like, "Fuck this, I can't anymore."
No, I think it was a mutual beating within the within like the area of wrestling. Like they were training each other, they were both agreeing to it. It was sparring basically. The one I'm surprised you didn't bring up was abuse of power or trust.
Well, or it says the position of trust.
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah, So yeah, it would have to be like a teacher beating up a child or something like that.
But I could say abuse in a domestic abuse context.
I would say that would only account if it was you two were the one getting the beating. He was the one being domestically beaten by everybody in the BCC.
True.
Bryan,
I will let you have that one.
If you want to bring abuse out, I think Bryan was one of the leaders of that. Dragging you two up the mountains to do fucking yoga poses.
Yeah. Okay, I will give you that one. I'll let you have that one.
Okay, so factors reducing the seriousness of the offence. Again, I think we've skipped this first one. No previous convictions and or related recent convictions because we're just
pointless.
If you can't do it for making it worse, you can't do it for making it better either. I think it's fair enough, isn't it? Then there's remorse.
Nope.
No, they didn't give a fuck.
They've still not showed remorse.
They still don't give a fuck, do they? Positive character or exemplary conduct? No, definitely not. No. They've got even worse since this. Yeah. Significant degree of provocation? No. Bryan was just being happy and celebrating. He was having a great time, and then they went, nah, lad. History of significant violence or abuse towards the offender by a victim? No. Age or lack of maturity? I don't think either Pac or Marina are under 25.
Even Utes isn't under 25.
Is he not?
No.
Oh, no, he's not, is he? No.
He's like 28, I think.
A mental disorder or learning disability were not linked to the commission of the offence.
Well, he might have now because of the lack of oxygen.
But not... Yeah, but he came out... He wrestled again, he was fine, as fine as Bryan Danielson could be. Sole or primary care for the dependent? No. Determination or demonstration of steps to taken to address addiction or offending behaviour? No. Serious medical conditions? No. Pregnancy? Well, I don't think any of them, other than that thing was going around Blue Sky the other week that Mox is pregnant. I don't know where that's come from or what was going on. It was just all over my Sky feed. If you know what was going on with that, please let me know in the comments because I'm fucking confused.
So everyone's on AO3 reading Mpreg fan fiction.
Is that what you know or what you think?
What I think.
Okay.
I haven't been on AO3 in ages.
Okay. So. Please let me know because it just confused the fuck out of me. All of a sudden Mox was pregnant for a couple of weeks. So it's just like, what's going on here? Difficult and or deprived background or personal circumstances? Not really. They're all... They might have been at some point, but don't think it really linked into the offence.
I don't think so.
Prospect of or in work, training or education. Now they've all got a job. They're all still fighting. They've still got their job. It's not going to affect that in any way because Tony Khan doesn't care about crime.
He loves crime.
So I think this is only meant to be for Marina and Pac, but I think for everybody it's all kind of the same. The only one of them that actually affects the crime at all is the presence of children.
Yep.
Yeah. So we go back up to the sentencing table. We said it was B and 2 for them, wasn't it? So it started at 2 years. So because of that thing that makes it worse, it can't go lower than 2 years. So we've got to decide what we think between 2 to 3 years for Pac and Marina.
I want to stay at 2 years because I don't think they did enough to really harm the kids. Like if they weren't the one that were scarring the children.
No, it would definitely Mox that scarred the children.
Yeah.
Mox definitely scarred some children that day.
I mean, you could argue that Pac scarred Utes, and to everyone, Utes is a child.
Yeah, Utes is the child of the BCC at the time.
The fact that Utes is almost 30, we think of him as like 18 years old.
like when you're like, he's older than 25, I was like, no, he's not. He's definitely not what he is. I think, I believe you that he is.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to give them 2 years as well I agree with you on that. So for Marina and Pac, I think 2 years is a perfect sentence.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are we doing for Claudio? Because I don't think he should get more than 2 years either.
Okay, so even though he uppercutted Danielson, you don't think it really impacts it anymore?
Yeah, you know what?
It was a bit of a bastard move, that, wasn't it?
It was.
But was it enough to move him up into the higher range of a... culpability? So if you ever have a look at the culpabilities section again,
no,
it doesn't really bring him into any of this. It wasn't any more than it was before in A. So I think B and 2 are still what he would come under. We can't just give him more years because we feel like it, or more months because we want to.
I was gonna say, can we give him like 2 years, 6 months,
or just to be like show the point that we don't think it's much more. 2 years and a month. Like, it's not the actual fact that we want you in jail more time. It's just to prove a fucking point.
Yeah, it was more, but was it really in the grand scheme of things?
So I think 2 years and
2 years, 1 month.
Just to prove a point. Or we need to do it even better. 2 years, 1 day.
No. 2 years, 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
6 weeks.
2 years, 6 weeks.
Yeah.
It's a month and a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And so then finally, we need to break down the culpability for Mox, because he's going to clearly be in a higher level of culpability because of everything he's done. So if you go back up to the culpability, he definitely planned it, because he had so significant degree of planning or premeditation. He had the bag in his pocket. He knew what he was going to do.
He discussed it with the rest of the group.
Yeah, it was a plan. He knew what was going to happen. Because Pac was straight onto Utah.
Yeah,
he was stopping him. There was no way Utah was getting past him. So they all knew what was going to go down. So it was definitely planned beforehand. I wouldn't say it was a highly dangerous weapon or weapon equivalent. It's a plastic bag, but I think there's enough of the other ones that fall and still in there.
It then goes into suffocation or asphyxiation.
Yes, so another point in high culpability is strangulation, suffocation or asphyxiation, which is 100% what happened. I don't think anybody could ever argue that he wasn't trying to suffocate him with that bag.
No. And he was a leading role in the group activities. Yes, he was the leader.
Yes. He is the king, leader, as he likes to say. He is the king of the Death Riders.
So yeah, it's easily A.
And it was also prolonged and persistent assault. So it's all of them instead of like 2. So I think 100% A, and then Harm again is going to say the same 2.
A and 2.
So A and 2
puts him at a starting point of 3 years, with the range being 2 to 4 years.
Yeah. So I think because like you said before, he choked him out till he passed out. While it wasn't murder. Definitely murder. I think it could have ended up being obviously an accidental death. It could have ended up putting him passing him out for like coma for a long time, brain damage. So many things could have come from what he'd done that I think we need to give him the highest range of what that is. So the range is 2 to 4 years. Yeah,
no, I was going to agree. Like, if we start at the 4 year, at the 3 years even, and then add on the fact that there were children in the audience.
Yes. And he would definitely scar the child there. Some child going home and have nightmares over that.
And then, everything else you've just said, it has to be 4 years.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. So I think it's going to be 4 years for Mox on that. Okay.
Since we decided to do this one, I've been trying to think, were there signs leading up to this? Because it felt like it just came out of all of a sudden.
I think it was not very, if there was signs, they were very, very subtle, and a lot. I know I missed probably near enough all of them, and it sounds like you missed all of them. And I think that was on purpose because. Oh yeah. Everybody was like shocked Pikachu when they did that. That fucking uppercut came out of fucking nowhere. Like your face when we were watching it, like I don't think your jaw came back up until
till
the credits came up. The little thing at the bottom, AEW copyright, blah blah blah. Then you're like, fuck.
Yeah. So I was just watching the steel cage match,
yeah. I mean, no, the steel cage match made it worse. That fucking woman screaming at the end of that cage match. I think you were that woman as well, weren't you?
I was that woman. Like, no, don't go back. But also, you kind of looked like you just wanted to see if it was okay. That's a whole different thing.
Yeah, that's a whole different discussion. Maybe we can talk about what crimes were committed in that cage match so you can discuss it. Because there was a lot of crimes committed in that.
So many crimes.
That's about a 2-hour episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm happy with the sentences we've given them. So 2 years, everybody of the MOX. And Mox gets a good 4 years.
Yep.
So thank you very much for listening. If you can give us a like and a subscribe if you've not already subscribed, please let us know if there's any crimes you'd like us to discuss that we haven't discussed yet. Just leave a comment down saying do this crime, and if you know where to find it, give us a quick link because that would make my life a lot easier doing the research for it. But we're always happy to discuss what crimes you think will be a good idea, and we may feature it going forwards. Yes, so thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for supporting us. It really does make us happy. Really every one subscriber we get puts a big smile on our face, and we have a little party. If we get to 50, we're going to have a chippy tea. But yeah, thank you very much, and we will see you next time.
Yep, see you later.